Fun Fridays number 12, Wicked Part 1 has finally hit movie theaters. One of the most anticipated movie musicals of all time. And I'm happy to say, it was good. It was a very good, faithful adaptation of Act 1 of the Broadway musical. Did I have problems with it? Absolutely I did. But my biggest takeaway from the movie is that I could completely understand why this might be somebody's favorite movie of the entire year. Wicked premiered on Broadway over 20 years ago at this point, and a movie version of Wicked has been tossed around through different directors and actors for it seems like the past 20 years as well. So I can completely understand why somebody who is a die-hard fan of Wicked would absolutely love this movie. I can even understand why people who don't know anything about Wicked would absolutely love this movie. But I can also understand why somebody might walk away from the movie feeling disappointed. I can completely understand both sides. I fall somewhere in the middle. And while I do have complaints, I don't want that to be the main focus of this video. I want to talk about how much of a success this is for movie musicals across the board. And then at the end of the video, I'll touch on some things that I did and didn't like about the movie. But when I say that this movie is a success, I mean that it literally came out today, the day that I posted this video. And from the previews and fan screenings this week alone, Wicked has already grossed $19.2 million, which is absolutely insane for a movie musical. Now, a lot of that does have to do with the anticipation of a Wicked film. Also, if you cast Ariana Grande in a movie, people are probably just gonna show up. But when there have been, I think, 3 different days that this movie has been shown to general audiences, making $20 million just from those 2 or 3 days for a movie musical, I don't think I can stress enough how exciting this is for me. I have to say that most movie musicals that come out aren't great. A lot of them are not massive successes. Sure, they might score some nominations at the Oscars. Maybe if they don't get nominated, then you can have 2 stars of the film come out on the Oscar stage dressed as the characters from the show and give an award to somebody. Yes, there have been some successful movie musicals of the past few years. The Color Purple last year was pretty good. A lot of people absolutely loved it. Again, I kind of feel the same way about The Color Purple that I do about this Wicked movie. And Wonka was a massive success last year, but it's also fucking Wonka. Wicked Part 1 performed so well during these preview screenings that I believe it's tracked to make $100 to $150 million at the box office on opening weekend alone, which would cover all or most of the budget that was put into this movie. But I think this harkens back to something that I've always said. People don't hate movie musicals. People don't even hate musicals. They hate bad musicals. And while I personally do think this movie has flaws, the audience reception for this movie has been phenomenal. The theater that I watched this movie in was completely full. The only row that was empty was the row in front of us, and we were in row B. The only times this year where a theater has been that packed for a movie screening I've been to was for Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, I'm not saying that this movie is gonna make as much money as Deadpool and Wolverine. I'd have to be absolutely stupid to believe that. I'm gonna read something from this Variety article. So far, Wicked has made $19.2 million in previews at the box office. It is also benefited from some early fan screenings. That includes $2.5 million from Monday showings, $5.7 million from Wednesday advances, and $11 million on Thursday. Gladiator 2 made $6.5 million in Thursday previews. That means that Wicked almost doubled the amount of people seeing it than Gladiator 2 did. Now, of course, there's a lot of factors that play into this. You know, Wicked is family friendly, Gladiator 2 is not. To compare to Barbenheimer last summer, Barbie made $22.3 million in Thursday previews, while Oppenheimer brought in $10.5 million. Look, I know I've mentioned a lot of numbers in this, but this makes me very, very happy. Because no matter what, the Wicked movie, and almost guaranteed the sequel, are going to be financial successes, which proves that people are not tired of movie musicals. But no matter my feelings for the movie, I am just so ecstatic that people are actually wanting to go see a movie musical in the movie theaters. And they're also loving it. So yeah, that just makes me really happy. I'm not going to do a full review because I'm going to save that for next year when part 2 is also out. But I just want to say that Ariana Grande blew me out of the water. She was fantastic. fantastic. I could totally see her getting a nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Cynthia Erivo was also great. I wasn't fully convinced on her performance, but I still think she did a fantastic job. Jonathan Bailey, though, was incredible. Dancing Through Life had to be the best musical number in the entire movie. The musical number was so good that I could ignore the ugly backlighting that happened sometimes in it. Ethan Slater was good. They didn't give him much to do. Same with the actress that played Nessa Rose. They both just didn't have too much to do throughout the film. Which brings me to my first problem with the movie. Act 1 of the musical is about an hour and 15, an hour and a half long. And this movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes long. So I was expecting to get to know Bach and Nessa a little bit more and you know, flesh out those characters more than they are in the musical. No, not really. It's pretty much exactly the same as what's in the musical, which is fine. That's totally fine. I just feel like if the movie is going to be 2 hours and 40 minutes, almost 3 hours long, some of these side characters needed more things to do. Which again, brings me to another complaint that I have. The movie's just too damn long. 2 hours and 40 minutes when the musical itself is only 2 hours and 30 minutes. It felt like it started to drag a little bit at times. I was still entertained by the movie, but I really did start to feel that runtime. I was also not the biggest fan of Jeff Goldblum. I thought he did a fine job. I think that they could have cast somebody else who could have done a better job in the role though. Michelle Yeoh was good, but again, I feel like she pretty much could have been replaced with any actress and nothing would have changed. I did, however, really enjoy Bowen Yang in the movie. The practical sets in this movie are incredible. They look amazing, especially up on the big screen, but the problem is the color grading in the film kind of takes away from the richness of the sets that were built. I've seen a lot of behind the scenes clips for the film and the sets just look more vibrant in those. So again, the color grading, the lighting, not really a big fan of, but this will absolutely get an Oscar nomination for Best Production Design, Best Makeup and Hairstyling, probably. Maybe Best Adapted Screenplay, probably Best Picture. Like, this movie is legit, and I fully understand why people love this movie. There were also a few cameos that happened in the movie that I was very happy about. My only problem is that a specific instance with the cameos just feels like it drags on a little bit too long. And then the other cameo that happens, he says the line in a very weird way that I wasn't expecting the line to be said. Just because it's such an iconic line from the musical and this person said it in a different way, it kind of threw me off a little bit. But I did enjoy seeing the people that cameoed in the film. But I think my biggest problem with the movie was the ending. They extended Defying Gravity to take place in like a 15-minute chase sequence. The whole number just kind of felt like they're singing, and then they stop singing to do a little chase, and then they start singing again, and then they stop singing again to do a little chase, and then they start singing again, and then they stop, and they start, and they stop. And it just felt like it went on for way, way too long. I'm not gonna give any more specifics than that. But yeah, I was a little disappointed with Defying Gravity. The CGI in the sequence just isn't great. Defying Gravity is supposed to like grip me and make me entertained, but the whole time I was thinking, oh, that looks a little weird. I don't know why they chose to make the sky brown. It doesn't really look great. For me, Defying Gravity should have taken place at night with the stars shining in the sky, but I didn't direct the movie. I was not the art director. I could see this getting a nomination for Best Visual Effects because all of the animals did look fairly good. For me personally though, I wish we didn't use CGI animals. I would have much preferred people in costumes and or puppets being used. I think we totally could have had a puppet goat for Dr. Dillamon instead of the CGI one we got. I just worry that as visual effects get better, this movie's not gonna age as well because they went with CGI animals instead of practical ones. So, was I right about the Wicked movie? Yes and no. I was worried it was going to be a complete disaster and that it just wasn't going to be a good movie. And I was wrong about that, because it was a good movie, and I had a really fun time watching it. But again, a lot of the problems that I was worried about in the movie definitely did show up. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Wicked movie. I'm very, very excited that it is super successful, and I'm very interested to see how they adapt Act 2 of the musical. Alright, well that's gonna be it for me today. If you like this video, don't forget to click like and subscribe if you think I should be nominated People Magazine Sexy Man Alive for the year 2024. Yeah, we're not doing that this video. It's fine. You can follow all of my social media, linked in the description, including my Instagram, my Letterboxd, my Twitter. And if you want to become a bigger part of this community, you can join my Discord. The links for all of those are in the description down below. I'm Connor McDowell, and I am perfectly happy with the Wicked movie. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.